In our society, the importance of kindness and prioritizing the needs of others is often emphasized. However, it is true that the potential dangers of being excessively kind and caring are not always discussed. In a world where reciprocity is not guaranteed, there are individuals who, despite their generosity, find themselves emotionally and financially depleted. It is worth considering whether excessive kindness can even endanger our own lives. Surprisingly, there can be negative consequences that arise from being overly kind. In this article, we will explore 8 negative outcomes that can occur when one is too nice and provide 4 strategies to prevent others from taking advantage of you. Without further ado, let's delve into the first point. The first consequence of being excessively kind is having unrealistically high expectations for others. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us to accept things as they are and not rely on others to bring us happiness. Giving without expecting much in return helps us avoid disappointment and cultivate emotional detachment, leading to a more tranquil state of mind. While we may not consciously realize it, it can be challenging for us to be entirely selfless when we give. When we give everything we have, we subconsciously expect others to do the same. However, by doing so, we inadvertently condition people to rely on us for everything, even their own responsibilities. Ultimately, if we neglect our own well-being, why should we expect to be able to care for others effectively? In reality, our expectations of reciprocity often go unfulfilled, resulting in negative emotions such as frustration, fatigue, anger, and sadness. However, if we objectively assess the situation, we can recognize that individuals are not necessarily letting us down. They are merely prioritizing their own obligations. People will naturally come to expect things from us, which brings us to the second point. Second, the Stoics, with their emphasis on rationality and goodness, urge us to act in a manner that aligns with these principles. It is not enough to simply do what others want. Rather, we must consider what is truly good and rational in any given situation. This requires us to exercise moderation and maintain a balanced approach in our actions. By giving in moderation, we are able to retain control over our own actions and protect our mental well-being. If we were to give without boundaries or limits, we would risk becoming overwhelmed and losing sight of our own needs. Furthermore, consistently giving without setting boundaries can create a dependency in those we assist. They may come to expect ongoing support and neglect their own responsibilities, knowing that we will always be there to handle them. It is important to recognize the value of ourselves and our own needs. If we do not prioritize ourselves, it is unlikely that others will prioritize us either. It is natural for individuals to prioritize their own interests, just as Robin Hood does. However, this self-centered approach may ultimately prove costly for them in the long run. By neglecting the needs of others and failing to cultivate empathy, they may find themselves isolated and lacking support when they need it most. Thirdly, consistently prioritizing the needs of others over our own can lead to a disregard for our own goals and aspirations. The Stoics teach us the importance of leading a life guided by reason and virtue, which includes setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing our own responsibilities. By doing so, we are able to maintain a sense of balance and preserve our identity and well-being. When we constantly place others before ourselves, it is possible that we are unintentionally avoiding something within ourselves that causes pain or fear. This can manifest in various ways. For example, think about how you feel when you spend a weekend alone or return home knowing that no one will be there to greet you. These moments of solitude force us to confront our true selves, and if we have been engaging in numerous activities to distract ourselves from our own thoughts and emotions, we will eventually have to face them. Neglecting our own needs in favor of constantly tending to the needs of others can intensify negative emotions within us. Self-care is a crucial component of maintaining good health, both physically and mentally. Before we can effectively help others feel better, we must ensure that we ourselves are happy, nurtured, and well taken care of. It is akin to metaphorically enjoying a piece of chocolate before offering one to someone else. In other words, we should not offer to clean a friend's house until we have tended to our own needs and indulged in some personal enjoyment, such as watching a movie or sipping wine. Only after taking care of ourselves can we effectively address the needs of the world around us. A fourth consequence of consistently prioritizing the needs of others over our own is that others may perceive us as weak and treat us accordingly. Stoicism teaches us the importance of cultivating strength and self-control in order to take charge of our own lives. By setting boundaries and practicing self-discipline, we can demonstrate our commitment to our responsibilities and values, thus earning respect rather than being seen as weak. However, when we consistently offer excessive help to others without establishing boundaries, we may unintentionally create the opposite impression. Without clear boundaries, people may begin to view us as individuals who are unable to assert themselves, similar to someone who opposes their boss. As a result, they may rely on us to unload their own responsibilities because they know we won't refuse. Interestingly, when we finally use the word no and set limits, others may begin to develop a newfound respect for us, something they never anticipated. This shift in perception occurs because asserting ourselves and setting boundaries demonstrates that we have a sense of self-worth and are not willing to compromise our own well-being for the sake of constantly pleasing others. By standing up for ourselves and prioritizing our own needs, we send a powerful message that we deserve respect and are not to be taken advantage of. The fifth, another consequence of consistently prioritizing the needs of others over our own, is that people may start making excuses or only seek our help when they need something. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of wisdom and discernment. By exercising self-control and maintaining perspective when deciding whom to assist, we can distinguish between genuine individuals and those seeking to take advantage of our kindness. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where friends who used to spend time with you suddenly only reach out when they need something? This behavior is not surprising from a logical standpoint, as most people do not typically invite their employees or colleagues for social activities outside of work-related contexts. While this behavior may be understandable to some extent, it does not necessarily make it fair or just. Therefore, it becomes crucial for us to learn how to apply the strategies that will be discussed later in order to prevent others from taking advantage of us. By being discerning and setting boundaries, we can ensure that our kindness is not exploited by those who only seek our assistance when they have something to gain. It is important to remember that our time and energy are valuable, and we should reserve them for those who genuinely appreciate and reciprocate our kindness. The sixth, 8. Another consequence of consistently prioritizing the needs of others over our own is that we may attract people who are solely interested in what they can gain from us, rather than those who are willing to give back. By exercising patient discernment, we can cultivate genuine relationships that are mutually beneficial. People enter our lives because their energy aligns with ours. If our energy vibrates at a low frequency due to excessive giving, we may inadvertently attract individuals who are negative, depressed, or harbor negative intentions towards us. Conversely, when our energy vibrations are high, we tend to attract individuals who exude positive energy, kindness, enthusiasm, a strong work ethic, and joy. When we give excessively to everyone without discrimination, we may deplete our own energy reserves and diminish our positive vibrations. It is important to strike a balance and be mindful of the energy we invest in relationships. By being discerning and selective, we can attract individuals who genuinely appreciate and reciprocate our kindness, fostering healthier and more fulfilling connections. By taking the time to evaluate the intentions and energy of those we allow into our lives, we can create an environment that nurtures and supports our own well-being as well as the well-being of others.